back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Windsor Spitfires, but more recently, Dallas Stars first round pick, Wyatt Johnston. Wyatt, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So to start off this interview, what do you do during the off season to stay in game shape?
Right now, I'm working out about 5 or 6 times a week in the gym, and then I'm getting on the ice about 4 times a week, maybe five. Just trying to get as strong as I can and get bigger, get stronger, and then also work on my skills on the ice so that I'm in the best position possible once the season starts in September, October.
Is it crazy to you at all that your last game was, basically 2 years ago?
Yeah, yeah, it is very crazy. I mean, it's felt like 10 years pretty much. It's felt like forever. It's felt like an eternity. So I'm so excited to get back and get playing again with the Spitfires.
How have you dealt with the effects from the pandemic, that may have had on your mental health?
Yeah, it's been definitely, really difficult, really frustrating. It's been, really, really difficult time for all of us, and everyone's struggling in a different way. And so, just for me, I think being able to just work on my game and work in the gym, I think that's really helped me, especially mentally.
And I'm sure it's really been so much fun getting back on the rink because here in Ontario we've been without rink access for close to almost a year, and now with rinks reopening, it's been good for you, it's been good for me, and we love the sport of hockey.
Yeah, it's been really good that the rinks are starting to get back open, and I'm able to get on the ice a lot more consistently, and I don't have to worry about when the next time I'll be able to find ice is. So yeah, it's a lot better, and just being able to get back working, and it's been really good.
Growing up in a hockey bed, like you did in Toronto, did that kind of help you fall in love with the game?
Yeah, I think so. I grew up in an area that has a lot of outdoor rinks, and just kind of the area I live in is a really big hockey area. I know going to school, so many of my classmates also played hockey. So I think, yeah, just growing up, I think it really helped me just being in a area where hockey's a really big thing.
Did you grow up as a Leafs fan?
I did, yeah. I've been a Leafs fan my whole life.
Well, I'm very sorry for that. I know my Habs came back from 3-1, and you've had to deal with a lot of playoff heartbreaks. So I'm sorry that you
Yeah,
cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
it's all right. Yeah, yeah. Been a few too many heartbreaks for sure.
How did you end up choosing your number 55 for the Windsor Spitfires?
Um, I actually, when I first started playing hockey, I just kind of ended up being five by chance. And I liked that, so I just kind of continued being five. When the numbers were only 1 to, I guess, 17 or whatever, just kind of kept with five. And then once I had a choice to choose whatever number, I just thought might as well double it. Why not? And so yeah, I've been 55 for I think about 10 years now.
Well, I'm pretty sure 55 is going to become a household jersey to be sold in Windsor, since you did get drafted in the first round. Congrats to you on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I was really happy, and I'm really excited. So yeah, it's been a crazy past couple weeks.
You played, getting to your career here, you played in the Brick Invitational twice, actually, starting back in 2011. What does it mean for you to play in a tournament that is so coveted?
Yeah, I mean, playing in the brick tournament was, a really, really, really fun experience for me. Just kind of the atmosphere playing in the middle of a mall. There's usually, a fair amount of fans watching the games, and I think just kind of the way the setup of the rink, just playing in the mall, being just also just kind of living in the mall, being able to walk to the rink and all the fun attractions that come with that mall. I think it was such a fun tournament, and also the competition was really good. It was my first taste of playing against some of the top players from around North America. So yeah, it was an amazing experience for me.
It's not every day that you get to play inside a mall, so those experiences are definitely fun.
Yeah, it was pretty special and pretty cool.
You play, your position is listed as a center. So what's it like carrying those responsibilities as a centerman?
I actually really like it. I think, I like having a big impact on the game, and I think, playing center, you're able to impact the game, really well offensively and also defensively. So yeah, I think I just like, being in the middle of it, especially just kind of working down low in the defensive zone and just kind of everything that comes with being a centerman. So yeah, I really like it.
How much of your off-season program, or whether you do it in practice on your own, is devoted to practicing draws?
Um, honestly, during the summer, you don't work on draws too much. I think towards the end of the summer, I like to work on them a little bit just so that I'm not rusty going into training camp. But pretty often, actually, after practice, coach will drop pucks for you, and you'll get to work on your draws. So, yeah, I actually get a fair amount of work on draws, and I kind of just work on it myself just by working on my hand-eye coordination and stuff like that.
Do you ever study what the opposing center's book is? Like, do you have a book on, some of the, best centers in the OHL and what their tendencies are?
Um, yeah, I mean, before games, sometimes we'll have videos of some of their sentiments and how they like to take draws, and then I think a lot of it's just kind of learning throughout the game and seeing what move they like to do or what they like to do on the draws, and just trying to learn and adapt to try and win the draw.
You played with the Toronto Marlboros as your minor midget team. What were some of the benefits of playing on a team so close to home for you?
Yeah, I mean, just being close to the rink has been pretty good for me. I was only about 15 minutes without traffic from playing in that rink. So I think it really benefited me. And, I know some players had to commute over an hour just to get to practice. And so I think, that probably didn't really help them on their, on ice performance in games and also in practices. So I think just being closer to the rink has really been good for me.
Also, how honorable is it to play, for such a big GTHL team like the Toronto Marlboros?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's really cool just kind of seeing the kind of what kind of players is have came through that program, like John Tavares, Connor McDavid. And also just growing up watching, the players above you that, make it on to the next level, get drafted in the OHL and then make it on to the NHL. So, yeah, I think just being from such an amazing organization like the Marlboro Bros has been really good for me, just kind of seeing what it takes and seeing, future NHL players in their minor hockey days.
You registered 36 points in 33 games, with your seasons, with the Marlboros. How important was it for you to be consistent during those years?
Yeah, I think it was definitely really important. I like to kind of take pride on playing well every night, and I try my best to play well every night. So yeah, I think just the more consistent you are, the more you'll be able to help your team win, and I think that's the most important thing.
Did playing in front of your family ever have a positive impact in your game?
Yeah, I mean, I really like playing in front of my parents. Being in Toronto, they are able to get to every game, and also in Windsor, they get to as many games as possible. So I think, yeah, I think I really like playing in front of them, and um, yeah, I think it's also probably, I think they like me watching me play too as well. So I think it's good for the both of us.
Did you have to deal with a big roster change, year to year with the Marlboros?
Um, yeah, I think there was, a fair amount of turnover each year. There was usually kind of the main core of guys that would stay for changes. So yeah, I think, obviously there's a few changes, but it doesn't take too long to kind of adjust and just kind of get to know your new teammates and stuff like that.
Well, that's good because I figured that you do seem to have an easy time getting to know people, and that's such an important part. Because when you bring in new guys, there could be some unfamiliarity there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, some of it is often in the recruiting process, just trying to get to know them and see if they'll be able to fit in well with the team. And then, yeah, I think for the most part, everyone's a pretty good guy and pretty easy person to get to know. So I think, yeah, it's a little bit different when you have a lot of turnover and the team often might look a little bit different. But yeah, I think I haven't really ever found it too difficult to, get to know and create chemistry.
How did you end up celebrating the OHL draft later that year?
I didn't really do too much to celebrate. I think it was just a really exciting experience for me and moment for me and my family. So yeah, I didn't think I really did too much to celebrate. I just tried to kind of just take it in and then get prepared for this season and to make the best impact that I could.
Well, you got selected in the sixth round by the Spitfires. What did it mean for you to be drafted by Windsor?
Yeah, I mean it was really special. When there's an amazing organization and there's been a lot of really good players that have gone through Windsor. So I think just having the chance to play for such a great organization and be drafted by such an amazing organization, it was a really good experience for me and really good for my development and just my future.
During your rookie season, you played with players, like the names of Will Cully, Jean-Luc Foodie, among others. What presence do those players bring to the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, I think, they have a very professional way of going about things, and they're obviously pretty good hockey players and also really good people off the ice. So they're really good to talk to and, get to know. And so yeah, I think it's, really good having some really high-end hockey players in the locker room.
Would you say you like to try, I guess, model them in some way?
Yeah, I think, I like to, definitely take some things from them. I think, they obviously have a lot of knowledge of the game and, they're older than me, so I like to learn a little bit from them. But yeah, I guess in some ways I would maybe like to model them, but I guess in other ways that maybe on the ice I kind of want to stick to my own game.
You totaled 30 points in 53 games, but what's the story of your first OHL goal?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were actually down 4-0. It was my first game in Windsor playing against Peterborough, and I think we were actually down 4-0 in the game, and I think there was a little scramble, and the puck came out to me, and then I just kind of shot it through a screen, and it hit the goalie and popped up really high in the air, and eventually trickled in. So yeah, it was a pretty cool goal to score, and we actually ended up coming back that game and winning about 9-6. So it was a pretty crazy first game, and it was a pretty cool goal to score.
Did it ever take you by surprise how high of a goal scoring league the OHL is?
Yeah, I mean, I knew kind of from experience that sometimes the games could get a little bit high scoring, but yeah, actually, I've never really thought too much about that. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is one of the more high scoring leagues, I'd say. So yeah, I guess it's a little bit more fun for an offensive player like me who can have the chance to score a few more goals.
Because we never really see 9-6 games happen all that often, and I feel as though in the OHL we always get high scoring 5-4, maybe even 6-2 at some points.
Mhm. Yeah, I think a lot of that's just because of you can have some older guys who are first round draft picks to the NHL, and then you can also have the young 15 and 16-year-olds who are just getting into the league and learning the way about things. So I think sometimes that can kind of create a little bit of a mismatch, and that can lead to goals. And I think yeah, just overall there's a lot of really good players in the league, which kind of I think I guess makes it that some games can be really high scoring.
How long did it take for you to adjust to the grind of the OHL season?
I think it took me about, half of the I think from I probably about the start of the year to about Christmas. I think that's kind of just kind of the first half of the season. I just kind of towards Christmas time I started to adjust a lot better and get into the swing of things. So I think that's about the time frame.
You played for Team Canada Red at the U17s. How quickly did you develop line chemistry since you're playing with players from all three different, junior Canadian leagues?
Yeah, I think it definitely took maybe a little bit of time, but ultimately they're all really good hockey players that I was playing with. So overall, I didn't find it too difficult to kind of create chemistry with them, just because I think they're all really good hockey players. So yeah.
It's good because at least you line up skill, with with another line mate. And, when you usually put two skillful line mates together, we saw that with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. It, seems to work out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl might be a bit of an anomaly because they're two of the best players in the world. So, but yeah, I think just having the chance to play with some really good players at the U17, I didn't really find it too difficult to generate chemistry with them.
What was that experience like at the U17s?
It was an amazing experience. I think just getting to just play against some of the best competition in the world, like Russia, Sweden, Finland. I think that was, my first taste of international competition. So it was a great experience.
How did you feel when you heard the OHL was canceling their season?
I was pretty annoyed. Um, it's kind of what you work for, just playing games and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was definitely a really frustrating moment. And yeah, I mean, it's good that we have a plan for next year, but yeah, it was definitely a pretty frustrating and upsetting moment.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I can only imagine just how frustrated you were because, we'd see these press release statements from the commissioner, saying, okay, we're targeting this date. Never mind, scratch that. We're targeting this date. And it's like, okay, well, you train so hard so often that now you're preparing for, you don't know when you're stepping on the ice next.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely really frustrating when, there's a date, as you mentioned, and keeps on getting pushed back. And yeah, so I think there's definitely a few dates that, were set out, and ultimately it wasn't able to work out. But yeah, I think that was just definitely frustrating, just training just to be prepared for when the season would start up. And, ultimately it never started up, which was, pretty frustrating.
Let's talk about the U18s here. That was really your only taste of action here this past season. You played 7 games for Team Canada, scoring 4 points. How did that tournament help you mature as a player?
Yeah, I think it, really helped me just, again, having a chance to play with some of the best players in Canada. You always get to learn a lot from them, and also playing against some of the best competition in the world, and playing some of the top teams and some of the top players. So yeah, I think it really helped me, and it's a really good learning experience for me playing against some of the best players and playing with some of the best players in the world.
Could you see the willingness of your OHL, I guess, teammates, members go the extra mile since they knew that this was really their only ice time?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think we were just more focused on, winning gold. And so yeah, I think we were just, we wanted to win the gold medal, and we were just kind of focused on that. So yeah, I think, pretty much everyone was going the extra mile to try and win that gold medal. But yeah, I guess maybe in the back of their minds, you might have seen that, it might be our only chance to play this year.
You mentioned just how well your team played. 2 members of your U18 team there, Shane Wright and Connor Bedard, are probably going to be number 1 overall picks in the next couple drafts. What can you say about their play, given how young they are?
Well, I mean, I think if you just look at the points they put up and how much they are able to help our team offensively, that says pretty much a lot about, what they're able to do and how good they are. Just playing 1 and 2 years up against some of the best competition in the world and being able to produce at that rate. I think that just kind of says a lot about how good they are. And so yeah, I think they're both pretty unbelievable players.
They make it look so easy when they go up against people that are 1 to 2 years older than them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes I don't believe that they're younger, and sometimes I also forget that they're younger. That's just kind of how good they are. And so yeah, I think it's pretty special getting to play with them and learn from them.
What is a typical game day like for you?
Um, Typical game day for me is just kind of go out through the day, try to get, maybe a little bit of exercise in the morning, maybe go for a walk, something like that, morning skate. And then I like to have a nap, and then have my pregame meal, and then go to the rink. I don't really do anything too special. I like to get my legs moving in the morning, but other than that, just kind of hanging out, chilling, and eating my meals.
You guys played Sweden twice in the U18s, outscoring them of a combined score 20-2. Does that surprise you at all?
Yeah, honestly, it does. I don't think going into those games we would have expected to win. Can't remember what the scores were, but I guess a total of 22-2. I don't think any of us were really expecting that. So, yeah, I think that kind of caught me by surprise. I think just kind of shows what kind of a group we had there, because Sweden is a really good hockey country, and they're a really good team. So I think that just kind of says a lot about, how good we were as a team, and, how we were able to gel together and play well.
You mentioned earlier in this interview how you felt, really, good, representing your country. But going into that final game against Russia, what's it like for you to be a part of that heated rivalry?
Yeah, it was really good experience. I think they gave us a really good game, and they had the lead against us for a bit. So I think, yeah, it was just having a chance to be a part of that rivalry was pretty special, and really happy that we came out on top.
One player on Russia that was a headline for, throughout the whole tournament there was Matvey Mishkov. And I just want to ask one question about him. Was he whiteboard material during, pregame, I guess game planning around Russia?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, we are aware of him. I think just you have to be aware of a guy like that who can score goals and create plays like the way he can. But ultimately we were just trying to focus on our game, and if we were playing our game, I think when we would have been able to really shut him down and not really give him too much. I think he ended up with a few points and maybe a goal or two. Um, but yeah, obviously he's a pretty special player, but yeah.
What was the feeling like when you heard the final buzzer and everyone celebrated the gold medal?
Yeah, I mean, just it was a pretty special moment. Yeah, I think just waiting down, it was probably one of the more stressful couple of minutes of my life, just waiting for the time to count down. So yeah, I think it was really happy and just kind of a relief just hearing the buzzer go and just having the chance to celebrate. And so yeah.
It's one of those moments where the time can never run any slower. It feels like forever that the final buzzer is going to sound.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. It felt like double the time. It felt like they maybe slowed down the clock. But yeah, it ended up getting down there.
This summer you got drafted in the first round, as mentioned, by the Dallas Stars. Who called you first to let you know?
Well, the first one to call me was their general manager, Jim Nill. And then he just called me and welcomed me to the team, and that was a pretty surreal moment. And then Jamie Benn called me right after, and he also welcomed me to the team, which was a pretty special experience, just having a guy like him call me.
That's amazing. I wouldn't have ever thought Jamie Benn, but wow, that is really cool to receive a phone call from him.
Yeah, yeah, I was pretty starstruck. I was, already pretty amazed by, what happened the last probably 5 minutes before that, of me getting drafted, and then just having him call me was pretty crazy.
Logan Stankoven, who you've played with before twice, actually, did get drafted by the Dallas Stars as well. How excited are you to join him?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Me and Logan have a pretty good relationship. I room with him at the U17 tournament, so we have a pretty good relationship. And yeah, I think just being around him at all the Hockey Canada events, and we've created a pretty good relationship. And so yeah, I'm really excited to have him join me with the Stars, and I think it'll be really fun just kind of being around him um, yeah, just being around him and getting to know him a little bit better.
Final question here. Do you have any advice for aspiring young hockey players?
I think the biggest piece of advice for me is to have fun and work hard. I know that's pretty cliche, but when you're having fun, it's a lot better to work hard and get better, and that's just kind of gonna help fuel your love for the game. And I think to make it to the next level, it's gonna take a lot of hard work and determination. So I think just yeah, I guess just working hard and putting on the hours, putting in the work to get to that next level, and also just kind of enjoying it because not everybody makes it to the NHL, and I think it's really important to have fun while you're playing.
Well, I'd like to thank again Wyatt Johnston for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Wyatt.
Yeah, thank you so much.